Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This is NASA's thread. Today I'll be showing you how to make a 720-degree peplum flare. So this is the fabric we'll be using for this. I have a doll face which I'll be using for this, and I've gone ahead to iron my hair stay to this. Now I prefer ironing my interfacing to my fabric before cutting, and I also have my lining piece which I've gone ahead to also iron my interfacing to it. So if you don't have enough interfacing, you can just iron on your lining alone. I have my hemming gum, my crinoline, my tape, my chalk, and my scissors. So we are going to start by calculating this. Now we're working on a 720-degree peplum flare. Okay, so that means we're working on 2 of the 360. That means 360 times 2 gives us 720 degree. Okay, now usually when we are making a 360 flare, we divide by 4, but because we're working on a 720-degree flare, we're going to divide by 8 instead. I hope you understand that. It's simple, like multiplying the 4 inches you have by 2 also to get your denominator in this case. So what we're going to do is to use the circumference of where we're adding this to. So whatever circumference you're using, okay, ensure to add your seam allowance to that. So I just added 1 inch and I divided that what I had by 8. So 34 divided by 8, I have 4.25 as my radius. Now the next thing I want to indicate is my length. Okay, so I'm working with a length of 8 inches for this. So from where you're adding to, if you're adding this to a top, you usually have your full length of your blouse. So you take where you want it to end from your half length. So where I want this to end is 8 inches plus 1 inch which I added as my seam allowance, making it 9. So we have 4.25 against 9 inches of length. All right, so to fold this now, you can fold your fabric into 8 straight up. All right, now remember our division is by 8. Now if you're working on a 360-degree peplum, you're to fold into 4. Now we're working on 2 times of a 360-degree peplum, so you can fold this into 8 straight. So you just fold 4 and then you fold again, and then but ensure that you're folding this properly and it is equal at all the ends. Okay, so you can fold this into 8, but in this case we're going to fold into 4 firstly. That means after cutting our first peplum, we'll go ahead and cut out the second one. All right, that's simply what we're going to do in this case. So I'm going to fold this up into 2 firstly, and then fold again into 2 again, making it 4 folds. Now when you fold this down, ensure that the length you have will be enough for the length you're working on. You can take your measurement. Okay, so ensure that the length you have is enough for what you're working on. Remember, we're using 9 inches for this project. Right, so we're going to be taking our measurement from the closed ends where you have every end closed, where you have like double lines, the double folds. That is where you're going to be taking your measurement. Now we're working on 4.25 as our radius, so I will just place my tape round this way around that point to where I have 4.25 exactly, and I'll make a mark there. Okay, so I'm going to make a visible line. I hope you can see that. Then I'm going to take the measurement I have there upwards to the starting point of my fold. So what I had there was 2.5, and I'm just going to use that to mark round this. So this is going to help us to mark round this in order to get our radius perfectly. So I just used that and then I marked it. All right, so I hope you can see that. So that will be our radius. Okay, that serves as the waist area of our peplum. So I'll go ahead and take this measurement again and ensure that I have 4.25 exactly. Now if after taking your measurement you notice that it is less than what you have, you can just go down by quarter of an inch, okay, on one end, join it to the other side, take your measurement again. If it is more, you go up by quarter of an inch. Just adjust this by quarter of an inch, okay, and ensure that you have exactly that. Now, if it is less than what you want and you still cut this out, it simply means your waist area will be reduced, right? So I just went on to mark the full length. Remember, I'm using 9 inches for this. I marked it on both ends of this. Then I'm going to take my tape around this, ensuring I have the tip of my tape placed at the beginning, the line I have above, that's the waistline I have above. Now in this case, I do not need to add allowances at the bottom, that's any form of allowances, because I already added that from the onset. So the 1 inch I added to my length is going to serve as my joining allowance at the waist area, and also the allowance to turn my lining at the bottom. So I hope you got that right. So this is what we have as our length. You can see how nice this is. You can also use this method to cut out a 720-degree flace skirt. It's going to be perfect. It is going to be nice. So I just went on with my scissors to just take out what I will not be needing. All right, so we have one of this. I'm going ahead again to fold another piece into four, and then I will place my first piece on top of it, ensuring that the part where I have the double close ends are meeting, everywhere it's meeting perfectly. So while arranging this, ensure that you're arranging it properly in the right direction, in the right way, and you have enough room left, okay, so you can make use of your pins to place them down so that it is not moving about. Then after which you just go ahead to cut it out. So like I said earlier, you can fold this into four straight up and just cut it out, or you can fold into four firstly, after cutting you fold another four and then cut out the second one, whatever way works for you or whatever way you think it's easier for you. Okay, so this is what we have. Now I'm going to open this up. So this is the first one and this is the second one. So you need to ensure that they're matching in terms of length, in terms of width, and even the waist area, they're matching perfectly. So I went ahead to use that to cut out on my lining piece also. Okay, so what I want to do next is to open this up. So remember, this is closed. We need to join them together. Okay, so I will pick one and just open one side of it into two. All right, so we have that end open. So you can see how this looks like. So this is like a 360 flare already. We're going to keep that aside and we're going to bring in the next one. Now, in the case of this one, I'll be opening both ends. You can just see how I'm doing this. I'm going to open both ends. Now you can decide to open one end and just join it together, but I prefer opening both ends so that if you're joining this to the blouse part of this, the side seam will be matching with what you have at the top. That is the idea. So what I'm going to do is to align this to the sides, ensure I get the sides that are matching, and then just join this by half of an inch and repeat the same thing to the other end. Place them properly together and then join it by half of an inch, after which I'll repeat the same process for my lining. So this is what I have after I finish joining them together. You can see how nice this looks. So you can see the flare already. You can see how it's looking. You can see the effect it has already. Okay, so I did the same thing like on my lining, like I said I would, and this is how it came out. Okay, so we want to start joining our piece together, like sewing this down. Now making a peplum is actually quite easy. You just need to be patient. You just need to understand the concept of it, and it will come out perfectly. Trust me, if you follow this method, you're going to have your peplum looking fly, right? So I placed the front part of my main piece facing up, and then I placed my lining piece on top of it, right side facing it. So I placed the right side of my lining to the right side of my main piece together. Then I'm going to introduce my crinoline, but before then I will just close up the edge of the mouth of the crinoline. So you know these ends are sharp so that it's not you don't have any discomfort while you're wearing your dress. Okay, so I just tape that down to make it more comfortable, to make it more secure at that end so that it is not rough at that end. Then I'm going to place this down on top of it like so, ensuring I leave half of an inch at the sides. Now that would be the allowance we're going to use to stitch down the sides. All right, so I'll leave that down. I'll place it down like so, and then I'll bring in my hemming gun, place it on top of it. So I'm placing all four pieces of this together, and I'll go over to the machine to stitch down. So the first thing should be your line, your main piece, and then your lining, your crinoline, and then the hemming gun on top of it, and you go ahead and stitch it down. So this is what I have after I finish doing that. And I also closed down that half-inch allowance I left by the side. Okay, I left that, I closed it down. So the next thing we'll do is to work with our hemming gum and then the heel gum. So in this case, you can decide to just go over to your mesh, to your ironing table, and just iron your hemming gum down to the ends of it. That's the top part of this. But I wanted this to be easier for me, so I can just do my ironing one time. So I'm going to use my heel gum. I will just touch up my crinoline. So I'm actually putting my gum inside facing towards the lining. So it should not be facing towards the fabric itself. That's the main piece. It should be facing towards the lining, okay? And I'm going to apply this to the full length of my crinoline. Apply my heel gum, secure my hemming gum on top of it like that, all round it. Okay, like I said, if you don't want to go this way, you can just go over to your machine and just iron. Use your iron to just keep your hemming gum in place on top of this. So this is what I have after I finish doing that. So you can see that all around this. The next thing I'm going to do is to flip this over to the right side of this. So you want to be careful while you're doing this now. So the reason for the hemming gum is just that it gives it a neat finishing, it gives it a perfect look by the time you're through with this. So I just went ahead to adjust this out, ensuring that I bring out all the edges of this, that it is well placed and it is properly aligned. So after doing that, you want to go ahead and give this a very good press. So this is the final look of the peplum. You can see how it came out. I hope you learned from this how to make a 720-degree peplum flare. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this. And if you're yet to subscribe to the channel, please subscribe. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.